The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated here
To our favorite shows.
Oh, my circuit!
Everybody loves Hippo Toes.
Scary dog!
Pearson and Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Good evening. You are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast, TV Party Tonight. And tonight, our favorite show is White House Plumbers, a political drama satire television miniseries created and written by Alex Gregory and Peter Huyck, directed by David Mandel, based on the 2007 book Integrity by Egil, Krogh, and Matthew Krogh. The series stars Woody Harrelson, Justin Theroux, Domhnall Gleeson, Kiernan Shipka, and Lena Headey. It's premiered on HBO May 1st of 2023. As I said, I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified. And joining me tonight is Mr. Politico.
Oh, yeah.
He is...
Oh, yeah.
He is the Democrat, the Republican, the conservative, the liberal. He is
The everyman.
He's the alpha, the omega. Mr. Billionaire Politics, Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
The man with the hiccups right now. Like I had to get the hiccups right before the podcast started. That just happened. Oh, man.
Timing is everything, my friend. Timing is everything.
I remember having the last time this happened to me was, I think, 2016. I've kept track. But yes, my goodness, we are here to discuss Watergate.
That's right.
Politics. Can't
well,
wait.
after making you review 7 seasons of The West Wing and Andrew Graham wanting us to do all things Alan Sorkin for some odd reason, I thought, all right, well, let's keep torturing Jesse.
Sure.
Actually, I'll be honest with you. The whole reason I did this was, at the time, I was booking up a lot of Sundays with you, for the most part, as kind of like our day is Sunday. That's just when we record anything. Could be sessions, could be this, could be comics, whatever. Metal Hammer of Doom. And, then it was like, okay, well, him and I like to do old TV shows that have, that at the very least have gone off the air at this point.
Right.
And I had been trying to watch White House Plumbers for a while. Like, I think when you texted me that you were like on episode 2 or you had just gotten through episode 1, I was like, yeah, I've tried to watch episode 1 like 3 times.
That's funny.
And I never got past it. Not because it's a bad show or anything. It was just like, as we know, I don't ever have time to watch something that I'm not reviewing.
Sure.
Like, as it is, I got to finish sports night before Wednesday. Because, I have to do my homework the night before class.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to throw White House Plumbers on a night that we're not doing anything, because then I'll have a reason to finish it. And finish it I did. Finished all over it.
Oh.
So when I threw it on the schedule, did you have any idea what this was?
No, I had no clue. Thank goodness they kind of explained the reference in the show, because I would have had no clue what I was actually getting into based on what it was titled.
They fixed leaks, Jesse. They fixed leaks.
Apparently so.
Did you get that they fixed leaks?
Yes. They weren't fixing them; they were causing them, weren't they? Were they trying? No, wait a second.
No, they were trying to stop the leaks.
They were trying to stop the leaks. Got it.
Right. When you knew what this was, what was, like, I don't know how much you look at stuff before you actually start to watch it. Did you go in cold, like completely cold, or did you look up some, like, when you saw what Radulich doing now to the schedule, and you see, like, TV Party Night, White House Plumbers, the fuck is this? Did you look it up at all?
I don't think I did. I just saw Woody Harrelson and then some dude with a mustache, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. So I think that I may have gone into it understanding that it was something to do with Watergate. And that might be something that you may have actually said while we were talking. But yeah, I didn't look anything else up. I didn't know who these people were until I got into the show. So no clue. And I honestly am not like extremely well versed on the whole Watergate scandal. So I'm definitely going to be educated here, I'm sure, tonight. You probably have a great explanation as to what happened. And this show is kind of like a little encapsulation of that in somewhat of a satirical, farcical way, I think.
What did you know about Watergate at all before that? You realized that this was about the Watergate hotel break-in by
right. I associate it with the fact that now, is this what led to Nixon resigning, or was this just something that happened prior to him doing it?
No, this is what led to it.
Okay, all right. So I knew that much. I knew that it was a hotel. I knew that they were breaking in and got caught. So that much I knew about, like, the actual
Watergate torpedoed with Nixon's presidency.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. That's essentially all I knew. I didn't know any of I had no idea that I've heard of G. Gordon Liddy's name before. I had no idea that he was associated with Watergate. So that's how much.
Yeah, I kind of knew about him because he was he was mentioned a lot on Bloom County, in the Bloom County comics, but I didn't know really who he was. And then when I started listening to talk radio, apparently G. Gordon Liddy is like right there with Rush Limbaugh at like the beginnings of AM conservative talk radio.
Oh, really? So he was a talk personality?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
I don't know that much about it, to be honest with you. But what I remember being like, G. Gordon Liddy was at like the forefront of the conservative radio machine.
Gotcha. Okay.
He was beloved by conservatives. It's one of the things about this show right off the bat is it, and these are, I did like you do, like I make notes as I'm watching, but like my notes are I talk to ChatGPT while I'm watching the show. As I make observations, and it's interesting to me how this era of politics is very cultish. Like, we talk about the divisiveness of politics today, the MAGAs versus the septum-pierced Democrats.
Septum-pierced.
And everyone belongs to a cult. It doesn't matter, and to the point to which, and this is really what I'm trying to say, if their side does something wrong, their followers, their devotees overlook it. The other side does the same exact thing. They want them boiled in their own pudding.
Yep.
And this is both sides. And you think you would be led to believe, if you didn't study history or watch shows like this, that it's just a very modern phenomenon. It's Trump's fault. It's Obama's fault. Had he not been a black Muslim commie, none of this would have ever happened. But what White House Plumbers tells us very clearly, as if other shows in that time period didn't already say it, White House Plumbers says it very clearly. There was just as much, if not more, cultish behavior. G. Gordon Liddy and Henry, what is it? Henry.
Oh goodness.
Howard Hunt.
Howard Hunt. Yes.
Yeah, Howard Hunt. Like, they are religious devotees to the Republican cause.
Oh yeah, very loyal.
Nixon is the high priest. And they will do all manner of terrible. I mean, we'll talk about it as we get into the review, but the show is not just about, it's called White House Plumbers, and it's not just about the Watergate break-in. That's the centerpiece. It is about all the dirty tricks things that these guys did as like special operatives for the White House, for Nixon's administration. The kinds of things that they talk about in Operation Gemstone, as they were going through
all the gemstones,
the righteous gemstones, if you will, as they were going through like all the different operations that they wanted to do, like take the politics out of it. This is some sick shit they wanted to pull off.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. You could tell that, the show was kind of like, just look at how kind of over the top these two gentlemen, specifically G. Gordon Liddy, and some of the stuff that was going through his head. A lot of times I was just thinking like Howard Hunt was along for the ride, just so he can do something and feel like he was, contributing to the cause in some way. And a lot of times knew that Gordon was kind of like off kilter, but still both very devoted. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that they were coming up with, I mean, only one of those A through Z plans gets approved. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there that would just make you go, what in the world are you thinking?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to keep your side in power, to keep your guy in power, they will do anything that if it was done back to them, they would be screaming bloody murder.
Oh, right.
I was thinking about I don't want to be all over the place, but I'm going to say this much. As I've been doing these TikTok essays and engaging with certain groups of people, one thing I have noticed is that, and you can't convince me I'm wrong about this, I have watched people, and because I'm not afraid of the truth, I'm not afraid to say the ugly things. I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid to say the ugly things, and stand alone. This country loves fascism. Absolutely loves fascism. It also loves classism. It's not as in love with racism, but racism and classism are kind of interchangeable. It absolutely loves fascism. It just doesn't want to be. People love the idea of fascism as long as it's not being done to them. So, like, one side of this country is really okay with the government being authoritarian as long as it's it's stepping on the necks of the people they don't agree with. Right. And it's both fucking sides, because the liberals love fascism just as much as the conservatives do. They just don't want to be victims of it.
They don't want to call it what it is.
Right. If you think about like the way G. Gordon Liddy and Howard Hunt are portrayed, they're absolutely okay with really terrible things, so long as it's done for the guy that they're representing.
Yeah, it's in order to further the cause.
Right. And I'm thinking about the scene in particular where G. Gordon Liddy is playing like the Hitler speeches.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm no Nazi. What he was really saying was, I'm not looking to put Jews in camps. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not for genocide. But like this guy knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was talking about. He could get some people riled up.
I swear to God, if you could go back in time and just like interview people on the street, like, hey, let's take the Holocaust out of this. Are you okay? And are you okay with Germany doing what it's doing so long as it doesn't go into Poland and France and isn't like mass killing people in camps? I guarantee you people would be like, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We almost had a king in this country, Jesse, on a couple of occasions.
Almost had a what?
A king.
A king. Oh, boy.
You know what the Minions movies teach us?
Tell me.
We love a strong boss.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do.
So I've been talking, maybe nonsense. Your thoughts as we get into the review of the show?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about, again, these two men. This show focuses on these two men who find each other.
Justin Theroux, who plays Howard, who plays G. Gordon Liddy, and Woody Harrelson, who plays
E. Howard Hunt.
E. Howard Hunt, yes.
Yeah. So these guys, loyal to the cause, obviously loyal to Nixon, are just looking for something to do to at least try and keep Nixon in power. They consider themselves patriots for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they will do anything. Specifically, G. Gordon Liddy and his rabid fanaticism with, being loyal. Like he is I call him a fanatic. I mean, it's kind of reserved, but he is, if you ask him to do something, he'll even suggest, at one point in this, show that's talking about how he would hold his hand over a flame just to kind of show you how he just doesn't move.
And gets third-degree burns every time.
Right. I think there's a point where he tells a guy, he's like, if you need to shoot me, if you need to take me out, you be right up there and just put a bullet in my head. If that's what you think needs to be done, that's his level of devotion to making sure that whatever mission furthers the cause. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a cult.
It's scary. It's scary that these are people that are in power. Now, granted, at this point in time, it sounds like as we get this show started, they are kind of on the back end of their career. They're considered failed whatever. And here's
Howard Hunt was an ex-CIA operative.
Right.
And G. Gordon Liddy's an ex-FBI operative, and they are no longer operatives of those federal agencies. So they are looking to stay relevant in the Nixon administration, and they're given this job basically to do like dirty work for, plausibly deniable work for the Nixon administration. Right. And because they believe that the liberals are so un-American, they're so anti-American that
the hippies that'll pee on the floor,
that they deserve what they do to them. Like the Democrats are not, as far as they're concerned, the Democrats, because like let's be clear about what they're going to do. They're not just like running in the streets like beating up fucking protesters. They broke into the hotel where the Democrat
DNC.
National Convention,
right,
was being held, or at least where people from the DNC were staying, or they're having like witnesses overturn their testimonies.
Oh yeah. Rita Beard,
right? All of that.
Dita Beard.
They are spying on Democrats. Like, again, they look at these people as, you are actively going to hurt this country, and we are patriots. So we are doing the Lord's work by stopping you.
Right. We do not want to see what this nation looks like without us in power and with you in power, because of course
they've already had that. You got to remember the time at this place when Nixon's in the White House. This is after the Kennedy assassination.
This is after the Kennedy assassination, isn't it? Like 60. What is this? The 70s?
I believe so.
Kennedy's assassinated in 63 or 68. I cannot remember.
This is June of 71. Nixon aide Bud Krogh has two right-wing zealot, former CIA agent Howard Hunt and FBI agent G. Gordon Liddy, to form a new special investigations unit in the White House called the Plumbers to discredit Pentagon paper leakers, Daniel Ellsberg, and others. So it's 71.
Okay, all right. And
Kennedy was... So you got to understand what's happened, okay? So between the Great Depression and the 70s, we had World War II, the New Deal, not necessarily in that order. We had the rise of the Cold War and communism, right? We've had the Kennedy presidency and subsequently the Kennedy assassination. We had the Lyndon Johnson presidency. You know what the Lyndon Johnson presidency gave us? The Great
Vietnam?
Society.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Stay with me. The Great Society.
Told you I'm getting an education tonight. Okay. Great Society. Keep going.
You gotta understand something. And because you don't listen to conservative talk radio, I assume you don't, right? How much conservative talk radio have you listened to?
Very little.
If you listen to conservative talk radio, and I listen to a bunch, the thing that they keep saying is that this country was best when we had a weak federal government, low taxes, and the most amount of freedom to start businesses and seek fortune and buy property. Between the New Deal and the Great Society, government intervention exploded. Now, if you're already a person who is very skittish about the idea of centralized government, you don't want this. The liberals sound like commies. Okay.
Right.
Granted, this was to stop, abject poverty. A lot of this. But again, did I mention these people are also classist?
Mm-hmm.
So you also got to remember what's going on around this time is the eugenics movement. So from the 30s to the 70s, in that 40-year span, you've got the rise of a strong central government, the rise of the nanny state, the rise of taxes, by and large, to pay for it all. Yes, you also had Vietnam. You had a large fear of government overreach. This country, from 1900 to 1970, in the 70-year span of time, and you got to remember when a lot of these guys are born, right? A lot of these guys are turn of the century people.
Yeah,
they were children during a lot of the early parts of the 20th century. They saw their country go from a bastion of freedom to a socialist, in their mind, a proto-socialist country in 70 years. So, in 40 years. They're scared as fuck, is what they are. What they see happening is a wholesale change of everything this country stands for.
Right.
The liberals are the enemy. Democrats are the enemy.
Right.
And again, if you're into a classist society where the blacks stay where they belong, and then in comes, the Democrats with the civil rights movement.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's
an affront to everything.
Right. You're threatening everything that this country fucking stands for.
Right.
So that is the mindset of Howard Hunt and And remember, these are FBI and CIA guys. These are guys who are tasked with the responsibility of making sure America retains its power in the world at a time where nuclear armament is on the rise, and their biggest threat to the United States is the Soviet Union and communism.
Right.
And they've already had a lifetime of Democrats systematically changing the way this country functions.
Mm-hmm. So say I think there's even towards the end of this show, they talk about how Hunt was possibly one of the people that was involved in the Kennedy assassination, or at least there was a lot of discussion about that. So yeah, I mean, obviously now it isn't obviously confirmed in the show or anything like that, because they said that I don't think he ever confessed to doing anything with it. But either way, the point is that yeah, he obviously had some kind of skin in the game if people were not going to put it past him to be one of the people that pulled the trigger and assassinated Kennedy. So, but yeah, I mean, I come into this thing obviously with very little political knowledge, as you can tell. So a lot of what I picked up on, obviously this show was kind of a comedy drama.
It's comedic because these guys are so fucking over the top, ridiculous,
right?
And it's being presented as with modern eyes as look at the crazy conservatives and what they were doing. They don't bother to give you the explanation I just gave you. They just point and laugh at the pseudo Nazi G. Gordon Liddy, and his sidekick Howard Hunt, who's annoyed with it. They're like the Odd Couple.
Man. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, we open up the show with them trying to break into an office, and then there's the text afterwards because they had forgotten the tools, and they had to leave. And it says,
"What a fucking monkey show this was."
They go. The office was broken into 4 times. This was attempt number 2. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that was a thing. I did not know
that Watergate break-in is not a slick operation.
No, it is not. It is not. So yeah, I mean, you go into this. I think it relies a lot on comedy, the way it's set up, and these two bumbling guys who obviously have they're they feel they're doing their patriotic duty by doing some dastardly stuff, but.
Hang on. Do you remember the movie Office Space?
It's been a while, but yes.
Okay. The bit where they get, I don't remember why they have illegal sums of money, but they were we have to launder the money. And then they're on the internet looking up how to launder money.
That's great.
You ever know like a really, really smart, dumb person?
Oh yes.
Like that, like these guys are exceptionally look, you can't be a dummy and work for the FBI or the CIA. However,
Right.
you don't also have to be an expert in criminal behavior. And I
Right.
mean like breaking and entering.
Yeah.
And so like again, like we'll just launder the money, office space. We'll just launder it. Do you know how to do that? Not even a little. We'll just break in to Watergate. It'll be fine. Well, do you know how to? I'll get my Cuban friends to do it.
Yes.
And not all locks are the same, and they haven't really cased the joint.
Nope.
It's funny until you actually think about the nuts and bolts of committing crime. It's actually a more complex thing than people realize.
Oh yeah.
To do it and get away with it at any high level. I mean, any mope can shoot a guy in the street, as we've learned.
Right. Right.
But to do like a high level fucking hotel
Operation.
break-in and espionage, it takes more than you and your street friends to kick in a fucking door.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what they were dealing with. Like these are highly intelligent, highly capable men doing things they're really not equipped to do and bumble fucking their way through it. Therein lies the comedy of White House Plumbers.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as the drama part goes,
and there's a lot of that.
There is quite a bit. I mean, we learn, aside from these two guys obviously being comedic bumblefucks at what they're doing, they are also, I think what you learn about Howard Hunt is his family dynamic.
Yeah.
And that I kind of wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to have kind of like the empathy and sympathy that I do for Howard Hunt, even though he's somebody that I probably clearly would not agree with politically.
That's a dramatic structural thing, because if you have G. Gordon Liddy as the heavy conservative,
so heavy,
as the heavy conservative, you need somebody to kind of root for. So they make Howard Hunt very sympathetic, and you're not going to sympathize with him because he's going to be the other like radical conservative who's going to assist in the Watergate break-in. So you have to come up with something else. So they focused on the daughter's mental health. The son came across as a bit autistic too.
Yeah.
And they focus on the marriage, and then they made a point to do an episode where you get to know the wife right before they kill her.
Yeah, she ends up
in a mysterious plane crash.
Right. Right. And you start to kind of identify that this is a man who is putting his country first before his family, and his wife really isn't. I mean, she's kind of on board, but she's got some issues with that. She obviously wants him to.
She's an ex-CIA operative. She's also like duty and country bound, but she's down with country. She's not down with G. Gordon Liddy. That's her whole thing.
Oh yeah, she's definitely not down with him. The moment where they're sitting at the breakfast table and the kids are playing guns, and one of the kids comes up behind him, and G. Gordon Liddy actually pulls his gun and points it at the kid, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. And again, G. Gordon Liddy is so like obtuse. It's just like, no, like if you're bad, I should point a gun at you, because pointing a gun at you will tell you that you did the bad thing. See, like to him, it makes total fucking sense. I'm gonna read this comment here. This guy, our friend here, Rogue M Bomb, has been nice enough to leave comments. Listening to us, doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, and is sort of trying to follow the discussion, which I appreciate. But he goes, "I'm sorry, but I have to say, otherwise it'll eat me up. Your friend discussing this with has the same name as a character in the show Breaking Bad. I couldn't help but connect those."
Okay,
so you're
right.
Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Jesse Pinkman. I'll take it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My wife just finished. No, it was. Yes, it was. Breaking Bad. She's on the Better Call Saul right now. So
nice.
Fun comment there.
I've heard it's a great show. One we'll probably never get to.
It's good.
Anyway, so the whole thing with this, let's get into the show here. Like, let's find a place to start. It's 5 episodes long. They do the Watergate thing about midway through. I think it's like by episode 3, we're on to Watergate. So like the first 2 episodes, they're putting these two guys together. They're getting to know each other. There's a lot of like looking at how people who have these jobs in Washington at this time operate both professionally and socially. So we get a lot of G. Gordon Liddy and his wife, who is played by.
Oh my goodness!
I
I
know
had it
her.
here.
Yeah,
Judy Greer.
Judy. That's why you're here, Judy Greer. That's why you're here. And then Lena Headey from Game of Thrones is Howard Hunt's wife, Woody Harrelson's. And there's a lot of them like getting to know each other. That's where you have the scene.
Oh, so
Jesse,
good.
I can't wait for you to come over and hang out. You and Vinny to come over and hang out with Eric and I. And I play speeches at a completely I'm just gonna play nothing but podcasts. Angry Joe Rogan podcast.
And
as
not
loud as I possibly can.
Right. Yeah, you cannot have a conversation. This isn't going to be background noise. No,
he's
you
fucking
must
jamming to it too. He's just like you ever see like in movies or maybe even in real life, somebody's very excited to show you make you listen to a song.
Oh yeah.
And they're super excited about this song. They have you now. You're on their couch and they're like, listen to this dope shit.
I have been that guy.
Yeah. And you're just like waving the vinyl in front of them. And you're like, come on, man. Don't you feel it? Can't you feel the beat? Isn't this great? This is so totally out there, man. That was G. Gordon Liddy in that scene.
Oh yes.
Playing Hitler speeches. He was jamming to Hitler speeches, Jesse. He was like Mein Kampf, like he was fucking jamming in there.
Watching Howard Hunt go, do you have anything else? Is there, do you have some jazz? Because he knew his wife was not.
Dude, Howard Hunt asking for jazz at that time to G. Gordon Liddy was like, I'm down with the black folks. Do you hear me? Black should have the rights of whites. G. Gordon Liddy's like, I don't deal with that shit.
Don't have any of that. Nope.
Don't you? No. Jazz is code for civil rights.
Is that same scene too? Mm-hmm. Like somebody comes by and eggs his house.
Yeah.
And he runs upstairs and then he drops outside, chases after these kids, comes back and he's like, I don't know what he said. I think it's them crazy youngsters, and lays a pistol down on the table. And you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is just a little too over the top.
Yeah. When you believe as much as he does that they're in the right, anything you do against the wrong is valid.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to keep saying it, man. Like, we love fascism. We just don't want to be fascist.
Mm-hmm.
we don't want it done to us. I'm using fascism as a verb.
Yeah. Don't fascism me.
Yeah, exactly. I fascist you. You don't fascist me.
Hey.
You look at your fascism and fascist me. I'll fascist you right across the eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how like the whole thing starts. The second half of the show, fucking Howard Hunt's marriage just falls apart. She's like, I've had enough of G. Gordon Liddy. At some point, like, and she's kind of like reminding him, like, you have lost the plot. It's one thing to try to save this country from the dirty hippies, and from the liberals who are taking us down the road to communism. It is another thing to have become a thug in the service of the Lord, Richard Nixon. And she's like, you're not a good person. You're not doing things that make you a good person. Like, it was one thing to be a CIA person, do some shit. You were essentially doing the good work for the country. I did the good work too. It's not like my hands are clean. This is beyond the pale, is her whole point to Woody Harrelson.
I think a big part of that, though, is when he decides that, it's time to destroy some evidence, and he brings his son into it to throw some stuff into a lake. And it's at that point that when she finds out from her son that he actually involved him, and the family is now involved in this plot that is going to most likely come out. He has endangered their kids, and she has a problem with that. And I think it's that, that was the kind of like the breaking point for her. Like, okay, I could put up with this nonsense up to here. And now you've you've put our kids in danger.
Yeah.
They're accessories to this. We need to get our shit straight. And she pretty much kind of like takes over trying to get themselves out of all of this, even though I mean, she's giving money over to G. Gordon Liddy's family and trying to get everybody paid that's kind of involved. But of course, that kind of what leads to her demise because she's now aware of it. And supposedly that's what leads to her getting killed on the plane in the plane crash, allegedly. But yeah, man, it's a sad thing because, you know, it's now the wife realizes like, okay, he's taken this way too far. He has not only trying to cover his tracks involved other people, he's involved our family and my kids. So what do you think?
Yeah, this is another one where exposure to the devil changes you, and you know the people who love you want you to remain true. And when you give yourself over to the devil, you're not who you once were,
right?
And, you know, and she's got to think about her kids. Who the kids have had a gun pulled on them at this point. We got to talk about the scene where they're at the country club, and
oh yeah.
I can't remember like what I think somebody makes a racial remark to the waiter. The black waiter in that scene is fucking hilarious. He was like, "I'm fine. I don't want any of it." Like you could just kind of see the water hoses and the nooses coming out, and he's like, "I'm good. I'm really good. I don't need this." And there's a shrill white chick, just young, missing everything but the purple hair and the septum ring, going, "No, fuck this shit. You know, don't you call him a racial slur? What the hell set this place on fire? Like, hell no, we will go." And the black kid next to her, like, "Please stop.
What is going on?" Right. Like,
please knock this off.
Kind of like my job. That would be nice. Yeah, this is Hunt's daughter at this point who's making the scene, and
who's got like bipolar or something. I don't. They never said.
Yeah, she's
70, so who knows?
Right. She's got something. There was a car wreck I think she was in. I don't even know if that actually happened, and they might have just been using an excuse for her behavior. But yeah, this is kind of like one of those typical dad deals where you have a kid that grows up that is exactly the opposite of what you are, and she embodies that here. He's got 4 kids, I think, and this is the
Kiernan Shipka, I think, is his oldest.
Okay.
And there's the very sensitive boy. Then there's the crazy chick sister. Then I think there's there's the youngest that doesn't really get any screen time.
Right. He's the one that gets taken away by his godfather, though, his Cuban godfather. That it's like, hey, you know what a godfather is, right? That way, if something happens to your dad, you're mine.
That's right. He is the heart to heart with the kids, just like bolts out of the room.
Then he comes in after something does happen to the mom and the dad gets arrested. The guy shows back up and takes the kid unwillingly and is like sitting in the car going, "Hey, are you ready for your adventure?" But anyway, yeah, I mean, there is
come with Uncle Manuel. Let's go.
I got you a toy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like one of the saddest parts of this whole show. You go into this, you know, laughing at some of the bumbling stuff that happens, but by the end of this thing, all the family dynamic, all this crazy stuff that, you know, has happened really is sad because he loses his family and is the ultimate cost here. But yeah, that incident you're talking about at the country club. I mean, that's just, again, it's one of these few things that's
we talked about, like we talked about her reaction, like, but the whole time, Woody Harrelson and Lena Headey are like trying to keep a lid on things,
right?
Like they're there with G. Gordon Liddy and his wife, and you know they're talking about like you haven't paid your fees in a while, you know, like they're trying to. So this is one of those things, and again, classist, right? This isn't just about. This is not a particularly political show. This is not K Street or The West Wing. Right. This is more focused on like politically religious zealotry, family dynamics, mental illness, and classism.
Right.
Because what is Woody Harrelson really doing in these scenes? And they are trying to move up a class. They're trying to ascend to upper class. They want to be one of the 1%ers. And if you've ever been around rich people, and I unfortunately have, like, there's places you have to go. There's socializing that has to happen. You have to rub elbows with the right kind of people, and you have to look a certain kind of way. And I don't just mean like white. I mean like wear the right clothing. You know, you get to you know I watch clips of Suits on TikTok, And there's a comment about, like, I thought you were to get some new suits. He's like, this is a new suit. It's like, no. Good suits. Like, you know, a person who is moneyed and successful and is part of that like 1% can tell the difference between a shit suit and a good suit.
Right.
To where, like, I look at it and I just see a suit.
You
I
see,
two
yeah.
suits. They may or may not be the same color. Just a quick another way of looking at this. That bit from The Wire where Bunk is explaining to McNulty the finer points of the suit that he's wearing, and McNulty, who is like working class, is like, you know what they say about a guy who pays too much attention to his clothing, and Bunk looks at him, yeah, an adult. Bunk is a classist.
Didn't see that one coming.
But so that's what they're doing. So our friend here doing running commentary throughout this, good suits, right? But a suit is still a suit, though. Again, to the right person, a suit is very telling about who and what you are and whether or not we should let you into the closed doors of society.
Right.
I'm not making an argument. I'm stating this is the way things are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, they don't need the shrill mentally ill daughter like causing a civil rights scene. They don't need to be asked about, did you pay your bills? Because again, people with money in class, their bills are paid, more than paid. This is not an issue.
Yeah.
They are not concerned with the petty details of mundane life. No one's asking them if shit's paid. Meanwhile, there's fucking, you know, the daughter's going crazy in one room. The guy's hounding them like, pay your fees, and Woody Harrelson and Lena Headey are just sweating. Like,
yep.
Oh God, please don't think we're trash.
Yeah.
We're not. We're good people.
We need to leave now. We'll be back though.
With money.
We'll be back to play tennis.
And less children.
Definitely less children.
Fucking tied up in the basement is what you're gonna do. So any thoughts about like that first third where we're really getting to know these people, and because if you just see them as White House like flunkies, you know, Nixon devotees, you're not getting the full picture. You have to know them as people in order to be with them. And this is just dramatic structure. If you have to kind of, this is the world building that has to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to the Watergate stuff. Then you get to the fallout.
Yeah.
So as far as the world building and character building in the first third of the show, any other thoughts?
Nope. Nothing else.
So we'll get into the second part of this, which is the dirty tricks. What's hilarious about these two guys is like G. Gordon Liddy has no compulsions about Project Gemstone.
Oh yeah,
like a dozen or so individualized projects that range from. I have it right here in the wiki. Project Gemstone. Okay. Operations included suppressing the black vote, blackmailing Democrats at the Democratic National Convention. Yeah, stop me when you've heard the felony. Blackmailing Democrats at the Democratic National Convention with hookers and drugs, which sounds like a good time.
Oh my gosh. That was
dressing
great.
up bums as Democrats at their convention to embarrass them. Kidnapping or killing radical left hippie activists so they can't disrupt the Republican National Convention. Planting operatives at the DNC and leading Democratic campaigns and bugging leading Democratic candidates. I like how, like, since the war on terror started, everybody got all upset about it was the federal law that got passed, the spying law that we did.
Oh my goodness, Patriot Act?
Patriot Act, yeah. Like, we hadn't already been doing this kind of shit already. Just technology made it that much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh my God, the Patriot Act. We're becoming such fascists.
Dude, that was one of my notes. Like when
fuck?
Right. Yeah, I had this. You know, this is clearly an affront to privacy. Their what they do with Watergate and bugging things and, you know, listening in on conversations. And I thought to myself today, I was like, man, really, I don't even know if this would register on anything nowadays. I honestly think that we are so far past, like, still we'll gripe about privacy, but I think we have gotten to a point where we just expect people to be listening in on our conversations because we see that it's happening all the time.
I've been joking about it since we started the podcast about like the unpaid intern who listens to our podcast, or when one of us makes either a suicide or a murder joke and we have to immediately apologize to the FBI agent listening that it's just a joke.
Right.
You know, we've been doing this since fucking like 2011.
Right, dude.
And we've been making those jokes. So yeah, at this point, you know, but I'll tell you, I have no sympathy for people in this country. I have none, zero. And I live in Florida. But in case anyone's like, what do you mean? Where do you live, France? And like, no, I'm as American as they come. But but again, I'm not afraid of the ugly truth. And I have no sympathy for the people in this country when we can't fucking stop ourselves from filming each other.
Right.
You know, like you can't, the cognitive dissonance that has people complaining about privacy as they're running around filming their neighbors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know,
get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, it's like George Orwell's like I am afraid of the authoritarian state. You know, the government's going to be surveilling us all. And they were like,
we'll do it to
hold
ourselves.
Our beer.
Yeah, let us do it.
Yeah, hold my beer. We'll do it for you, George.
Right.
Don't get up. Fuck out of here. Anyway, planting operatives at the DNC and leading Democrat campaigns and bugging leading Democrat candidates. Mitchell wants better ideas for a lower price. They end up doing one of these. They're gonna bug the DNC, and they do it, and like only one of the bugs work, and all of the stuff that they photographed is worthless.
Yeah, everything that they photograph, and they get one bug, and it's connected to the secretary's phone, and it's so funny because but wait, there's more. Let's go to bug 2. He's like, inoperative, but my favorite is bug 3, inoperative. Like, oh my gosh, they could not. I mean, they just could not get anything right after they finally got in.
It didn't make you like, how have we ever been successful at anything in this fucking country if these were top operatives at the FBI and the CIA, top of the heap?
Sad.
Like, how the fuck? Like, no wonder the Bay of Pigs went as badly as it did. Well, I always like, you know, I listened to Madeline Pendleton on TikTok, and she's like, the government, you know, it's just so full of propaganda, you know, and we destabilize countries. And I'm like, we do all of those things, but for fuck's sake, like, there's as much competence as there is incompetence. Like, you're putting a lot of faith in the government that kind of bumblefucks a lot of times. But our friend here, by the way, just so you know, every single site online will put trackers on you. It's crazy how many trackers I've stopped on a single day just using the browser. Yeah. Not that I want to do anything illegal, but I'll tell you, like, the reason why I don't is you have no idea who's looking at you. Like, if you're just like, oh, well, I'll just look and see, you know, where to find hookers online. You have no idea. You have no clue. Like, just a quick glance just to see what might be out there. Might you know, tickle your fancy, and it's like being tracked by any number of police agencies. You have no clue.
Oh yeah.
So be good, for goodness sake. Whoa, somebody's
coming. Somebody's coming.
Anyway, let me take a breath so I can bring you into the conversation. The second third of this show, dealing with Project Gemstone, the bugging of the Democrats, the Watergate break-ins, the 4 times they attempt it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of when you start the show, that is the focal point. Like, hey, this had to be done 4 times in order to get it. Well, the 3rd time they got it correct. The 4th time was a situation where they had to go in, and were they going back in to try and correct it or fix it or something? I cannot remember why they went back in. I think
that's why they were trying to fix the bugs.
Yeah. So they got in there, bugged it the 3rd time, and then they were like, okay, we got to get back in there and fix it. So, I mean, it shines a light on and shows you kind of what happened, and how incompetent was the word that you used, and how incompetent we were trying to just do this one thing. I want to talk real quick because I'm sure I'll forget about it. But, you know, during this time, as we're leading up to this, there's kind of, it's fun to watch this friendship kind of develop between Howard and Liddy. Liddy's very like I don't know. For all his faults, he's very loyal and he's very supportive. Like when you watch him in, these scenes where it seems like, okay, everything's going wrong. Well, Liddy is the one guy that's kind of like sitting there grabbing your shoulder and saying, it's going to be okay. I understand. You got to understand what you need to do. A man has to take care of his family. I remember him saying that at one point to Howard. And you kind of watch these two guys who have been put together because of, number one, their loyalty to Nixon, but they're also looking for something to do. And now they both have a mission.
Yep.
And now that they have this one mission, they start becoming friends. And Howard, we talked about it at the beginning where they get to go over and he's like, let's meet his family. And they all, the husband and wife get to meet each other and they get to meet the kids and all that. But again, you watched kind of their friendship grow throughout this whole event. And while there are points where they're struggling, I think that was one of the things I picked up here was their friendship and how it had kind of solidified as we're going towards it. They're trying to get this thing done.
Oh, when he tries to get out of this whole thing and like he kind of does, I don't know if you've seen Jay Kelly. He kind of arrives at the same place Adam Sandler did of I have given everything to this almost to the cost of my family. I'm not giving any more. I'm on the cusp of losing my family. I'm going to go back to them. And G. Gordon Liddy's like, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong. And I just can't live without Howard Hunt. And Howard Hunt's like, he fucking sang to me. I
gotta go.
How do I deny this man? And
That's
his
right.
mustache.
Right. And his glorious mustache.
His glorious Hitler mustache. So it's like, and that's when Lena Headey's like, you have a choice. Me or Hitler mustache.
Right.
And he's like, I can't quit him.
As much as I try.
You ever see the fucking Mickey's Christmas Carol where the bit where Daisy comes into Scrooge's counting house and he's like, listen, I bought that house for us and I know I'm a little late on the mortgage payments, but if you could just see your way to be nice to me about this. This is for us. This is for us to live in. This is our marriage home. And he was like, I have thought of it. He's like, I wish you would think about it. And he goes, I have thought about it. You're late. I'm foreclosing. And she fucking literally shatters like glass.
Uh-huh.
That's Lena Headey in that moment. When he goes back to G. Gordon Liddy, she's like,
yep.
like just fucking shatters. And then takes a walk of fucking naked shame in Game of Thrones.
But yeah, that was kind of the thing that I was getting through this is that these two guys, they strike up this kind of unusual friendship. And I wasn't expecting G. Gordon Liddy to be this like, this guy who kind of supported them. I thought he would, as the cause went on, he could kind of look at Howard Hunt faltering and kind of wavering to the cause, but he would always kind of step in and be like, hey, look, we can do this. This is something that, he was very supportive, very a good friend to have at some points. He's a crazy friend, but he was, he was a good friend at some points. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I was getting watching them, really mess up this whole thing was hilarious. And watching the higher ups just be like, what are these guys doing? And trying to deal with G. Gordon Liddy and some of his craziness.
We won the Cold War.
Unbelievable.
It's like if we're this bad, how bad are the other guys?
Yeah,
the other guys couldn't keep the country together at all. So
yeah. So we win because they lost.
Exactly. We won by default.
Right.
You realize like that's the story of the Cold War. For all of the like buildup of armament and threats and proxy wars, we basically just existed. That's how we won. The other team stopped running.
Mm-hmm.
The Soviet Union ran out of money. That's what happened.
Yep.
Soviet Union ran out of money. It could not keep all of the different states together, and they eventually just reverted back to Russia out of default.
Right.
And then they tried to just be Russia for a while, and then Putin got back into power, and he was like, "I would like to do the Soviet Union again, but this time better." And here we are.
I've learned.
I've learned. Let's not run out of money this time.
Mhm.
Like, it is weird we won the Cold War the same way one wins Monopoly.
Yep,
You
they could
just
not pay their rent.
outlast the other people until they run out of money.
Right.
Look up your history, kids.
Read it.
Was, oh gosh, who's the fucking comedian from Bamboozled?
Bamboozled.
God, had it. Yeah, he was a comedian.
Yakov Smirnoff.
He used to, yes, Jesse. Yakov Smirnoff was fucking on the Chappelle Show. Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney had a one of his only, if that, famous comedy shows was Know Your History.
Okay.
Just ran out of money. Just ran out of money, Jesse. Know Your History.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so let's get to the third part of this. Since we're about in an hour now, this last part's like the sad part of the show.
Yeah.
This is basically like, they get caught. The FBI, despite being the Nixon FBI, is like, yeah, Republicans Republicans can't just break the law. You can't do break-in. Sorry. So they get charged, and G. Gordon Liddy's a good soldier. He's like, I'm not going to talk. So I think he gets 4.5 years. And then Woody Harrelson does 2.5 years. They both go to prison. And I think at the end, Woody Harrelson basically tells G. Gordon Liddy to go fuck himself. Like, at the end of the day, if I remember correctly, like, Woody Harrelson is just full of regrets, and and wants to just get out of prison, quietly fade into history.
I mean,
stop breaking into hotels.
Yeah, they have a very moving conversation in prison, where at this point, Hunt's wife has passed away. She died in the plane crash. He's in jail. The family
may have been a murder, by the way. Let's make sure we say that.
Yeah,
they suspect that was sabotage.
Yeah, though. I mean, the way they set it up is she's sitting on the plane, getting ready to kind of like lay out everything for a CBS reporter,
right?
And if somebody knew that, there was obviously some guy that gets on there, gives her like this sideways glance, so you kind of know something's up. But anyway, yeah. So she and Hunt believes that. I think what really is one of the main things that happens here that's really sad is the fact that Hunt realizes that all this loyalty, all this devotion, all these things that he did, he doesn't feel like he is getting anything in return. Like now he's sitting in jail.
Have you studied cults?
Right.
You do everything for the cult leader, and the cult leader will be the first one to sell you the fuck out.
That is exactly what he starts to realize. Now, what's bad about it is his best friend, his cellmate, G. Gordon Liddy, is sitting there like, I'm ready to do the time. I'll do it for my country. I'll do it for my country. And as soon as Hunt starts to waver, so does Gordon Liddy starts looking at him like, okay, no, buddy. And again, it's that hand on the shoulder. Be strong. We want to do this. We're going to do this together. And that's where Hunt's like, look, he just watched, oh my goodness, I can't remember. Their supervisor basically went and testified.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, hey, I was put, I was put up to doing this. And so Hunt's sitting there going, well, there's no reason for me to be in here, or at least if those people aren't going to be loyal to me, why would I've lost everything to them. Why would I feel like I need to sacrifice anything more than I already have to keep these people, to keep the truth out there? He has that moment where he talks to his daughter, who he gave her, like, I assume it was just written like details and transactions.
Yeah.
He didn't tell her what was in it, but he told her, like, look, you need to hold on to this. You either destroy it. I'm not telling you what you need to do with it. And then she looks at it and comes and visits him in jail. And of course that does not go so well. So I think a lot of that led up to it, but you also watch this friendship between G. Gordon Liddy and Howard Hunt just fall apart.
Yeah.
Because you got the loyalist on one side and you got the other guy who's like, who am I loyal to? Right. Who am I loyal to?
So the guy in the comments, he was like, cults. I don't understand. What do you mean? I had said it at the beginning. I don't know if he had heard it, that I was comparing the loyalty to the Nixon administration to cult loyalty. You would like another example of a cult that isn't a cult that is a cult. Vince McMahon. you look at getting all the way up to, to the steroid trial and his battle with the federal government, all those guys that could have testified, did he ever really tell us to take steroids? No, but it was clear that if you didn't, you weren't going to get pushed. So it's basically take steroids if you want TV time and lots of money and opportunity, or don't, and you'll end up like SD Jones on the ass end of a King Kong Bundy splash 3 seconds into your WrestleMania match. Those are your fucking choices.
Right.
And they don't. One angry guy testified against Vince, and they had to throw his testimony out. I think it was nailed, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But every single guy in the Hogan era had a king's fucking ransom of information on Vince, and none of them spoke up.
Not a single one.
Not a single one. And then, Hulk Hogan, ugh, God, his testimony. You would think, I think he had gone in saying he was going to testify against Vince, and got there and was just nah, Vince is great. No, no, I never took steroids. What are you talking about?
Sad. So, yeah, I mean, you watch these two, their friendship kind of falls apart. And then Hunt finally gets his opportunity to go testify to the Senate. And by that time, his supervisor, who had broke out and, did his testimony, there were leagues of reporters on the steps. And as soon as he gets there and he decides to lay his testimony out there, there's not a single reporter on those steps, reporting anything on it.
Yep.
So it's, again, it almost feels like everything that he's gone through it has just resulted in nothing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they damaged Nixon. They didn't save him.
No.
He resigns in disgrace, and then he's pardoned by Ford. And the pardon by Ford damages Ford so badly that Carter gets elected. And the only reason why Carter didn't get elected a second time was two reasons. One, the Iran hostage situation kind of killed Carter's presidency. And two, by that point, we were running a different kind of Republican. What people don't understand is up to this point, conservatives weren't united. If you watch Mrs. America, the miniseries I should make you watch that one of these days if I ever feel like rewatching it. It's the fight between Phyllis Schlafly and oh gosh, who was the liberal chick? Feminist broad. Listen to me. That feminist skirt.
The feminist broad.
I'll look her up in a second. But Mrs. America was about that confrontation, that part of history. The Reagan administration, the Reagan presidential run, the first time around, unites the Christian conservatives, the pro-military conservatives, and the lower the tax, police out by your own bootstraps, business conservatives, who were not unified at that point. They were the three legs on the stool that got Reagan elected.
Mm-hmm.
Or Carter would have been the president. We would have a much different. The 80s would have been different.
Yeah,
because Reagan comes into office, deregulates everything, and investment starts flowing in because there's no regulation. So you have the rise of monopolies, and you have a number of bust and booms that happen, such as real estate, eventually the .com boom, yada yada yada. You have all the union busting that happened under Reagan's administration. But again, you can't look at history as an isolated thing. You have to look at the through lines. These guys wrecked the Nixon presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got to Reagan.
Right.
But we had to go through fucking Ford, Carter first. So, if you're G. Gordon Liddy, if you're Howard Hunt, and you look at, a life spent poorly, you look back and what did we do? What did all of this mean? What did it amount to?
Right.
If you're Howard Hunt, not much. You lost your wife. Your kids fucking hate you. And they dispersed, to the four winds.
Yep.
And we lost Nixon anyway. G. Gordon Liddy can kind of rest safely in the idea of I did it for God and country, and God and country still exists, and therefore what I did was right.
Yeah. Yeah. He would not. It seems like he would not waver from that.
Sorry, I'm catching up on the comments here. So drama caused drama, which made another drama that caused drama and created a big drama.
Correct.
More or less. Yeah. In theory, yes. Anything else about White House Plumbers?
No, I'll read my final statement here. I mean, ultimately it kind of worked less as a historical lesson for me, but
nobody ended up shooting heroin in a horse bar, so you know.
No, they did not. So it's a dark comic tragedy about men who confused mission with meaning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, show plays Watergate. It's kind of it's absurd rather than tense, leaning into incompetence and farce at sometimes. But the humor gives way to some sadder stuff as the season goes along. And, you know, by the end of this, I just kind of, I was amused a little bit, but it felt more sad and disturbing. Mm-hmm. You know, and when you kind of mirror what happened there to, I really, again, would love to kind of get an idea of how our Americans would handle that in today's political culture. I don't think I feel like, again, it would not make much news at all. I think it would be something that would be pretty, I think it would be pretty subdued, or actually, no, what I think would happen is that half of us would believe that it didn't happen. That we just call it a hoax.
We currently have a president that may or may not have blown a former president and may or may not have slept with underage girls, and half the country could give a shit less.
Right.
Half the country is like, give him more girls. Like, what are we doing here? Is it good? Hang on, hear me out. Half the country saying right now, hear me out. If we gave him more underage girls, would my taxes get lowered?
Right.
Would the cost of eggs go down to, like, say, 1950 prices? Because I'm willing to give him my children if that's the case. Half the country.
Half the country.
The other half. Stuff. The other half, if their guy was in power. Like, well, it's only going to cost us young girls. And then we get free healthcare. Is that the deal, Jesse? If we give our guy young girls, do we get free healthcare? Because I'll make that trade. Half the country.
Sad. So sad.
You wonder why I'm just like all of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And last thing I'll say is I think Woody Harrelson does a great job here, and so does Justin Theroux. As far as acting goes,
the acting in this is excellent.
Yes, I agree 100%. Dita, who was it? Dita Beard, as played by Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, what a great makeup job on her.
Oh, wow. I did not know that was the case. So
former babe, Kathleen Turner, looking like fucking Michelle McCarthy.
It was not good. So yeah. Anyway, I've definitely wanted to give, props to the acting here. Cause I think that was done really well. Mindy could not stand looking at Woody Harrelson's face because of the way that he was
overbite.
Yeah. The way that he was.
I can't hurt you, G. Gordon. Get here. Leave me alone, Lena Headey. I'm going to save the Nixon administration.
She could not stand it. One of my favorite moments, I forgot about this. I want to talk, just throw this out here real quick. My favorite moment is when the daughter locks herself in the bathroom and the mom's like, hey, you need to get her out of here. So they're very concerned because she's not even answering the door. Everybody's yelling at her. Hey, are you okay in there? Are you okay in there? And he gets a call. She's obviously like, hey, you need to come here and help. He gets a call. And they're like, well, it's probably G. Gordon Liddy. We need to do something for work. And so he's stressed. He is, completely overwhelmed with, number one, what's going on at work. And then number two, what's going on at home. And of course, Lena Headey, his wife is sitting there going, you need to stay here and your daughter needs you. He finally gets so fed up, he hangs the phone up, walks over to the bathroom door and kicks it in. And she's sitting there in the tub, like reading a magazine or something. He's like, she's fine. I'm going to work. And I was like, that is
parenting in the 70s. Because if you tried that shit now, they would chain you to an X next to Wolverine.
Oh, I was like, man, I identified with that moment the most. With him kicking in that damn door and going, she's fine. I'm leaving. I'm going to work. Like, okay, all right, fine enough. Anyway, love that moment. I didn't mind the show. I thought it was 5 episodes of some entertaining, like learning a little bit about history and laughing while you're doing it.
Yeah, I would actually be interested in reading the book now when I have that kind of time. But I'm glad we did this. I'm glad I finally got a chance to watch it. So that is White House Plumbers, available on HBO Max. Bro had had enough with the BS. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he did.
Now you knock down a fucking door like that. You know, it's like, oh my God, toxic parenting.
Whatever. Open the damn door when I knock.
I missed
the first
70s.
time.
I miss the proto-fascistic 70s, Jesse.
Oh, well, I don't blame you.
Well, speaking of fascism, tomorrow on Damn You Hollywood, we will be looking at some more Oscar contenders, possibly. Begonia, which I watched this weekend, Maudie Supreme, which I've already said was the #1 movie of the year, and Hamnet, which was definitely in my top 5 and definitely the saddest movie of the year. I have described Hamnet as somebody took the gag from American Dad, where Tearjerker makes the saddest movie ever, where you cry so hard you die, and like as a challenge, and went about making Tearjerker's movie. Hamnet's a rough watch. Like it's not like Schindler's List rough, you know. But like when you finally go on this wild trip with this family, and when it finally gets to the end, and you see the grief that this mother is going through, and how the husband had to like work through the grief that he was going through, and they see each other where they hadn't been for a while, because back when in the time of Shakespeare, people didn't talk to each other. No one had the language of feelings back then. And they see each other for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, you are as in pain as I am. I see you, and you see me." It is genuinely heartbreaking. So that's Hamnet. It's don't watch if you're in the mood for a feel good comedy.
Okay.
So just gonna throw that out there.
Duly noted.
Jesse, you've got a Stranger Things TV party on Tuesday with Alexis, the final one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
You guys are finally done with that show.
Fun discussion.
You, me, and Gavin will be discussing Sports Night, season 1.
That show is annoying.
I'll talk about that on Wednesday. And then no triple feature this week. Instead, we're going to start Black History Month early on the Radulich Broadcasting Network, discussing one of my favorite movies of all time, another Spike Lee joint, Bamboozled. Gonna make Jason Teasley watch that. And then you and I will be back a week from tonight. We will be doing an on trial. This is a civil court edition. We're going to compare the 1989 Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, Danny DeVito version of War of the Roses to the 2025 Benedict Cumberbatch version called Just the Roses.
Roses, right.
So that's what we're doing there. This past week, last week, you and I did some comic books. We did Cobra Commander, Darth Maul, and Shredder in Hell. Myself and Robert and Alexis reviewed Wake Up Dead Man on Damn You Hollywood. And 2 shows were canceled because I work with amateurs. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we did a triple feature, director focus. We were looking at John Hughes, motherfucker. It was myself, Sean, Kathleen, and Mick Wanamaker. We looked at Weird Science, 16 Candles, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So that's all I got to say about what's going on with Radulich and Broadcasting. To those who were in the comments, this guy just left one. Says, sounds good. Not going to lie. Well, thank you. Thank you for like sending in messages and participating in the conversation. Always appreciate new listeners and checking out our hour-long Gab Fest on TV and movies. Jesse, you don't do Gab Fest. You do reading fests.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The written word, sir.
You and me, last Monday, we talked, it aired Superman of the Authority. So if you dig Superman and you want to hear us talk about a newer tale that includes a Superman who's just, he's waning. His powers are waning. He's looking for a team to put together, kind of, I don't know, take care of some
middle-aged Superman.
Yeah. They want to take care of some business before he goes away. So yeah, that was a fun discussion. So check that out. Tomorrow I am going to be recording with Dean and Derry. I haven't recorded with them for close to a year. So they are finally coming back to the Unspoken Issues podcast. We're talking the Benzene saga and G.I. Joe. So the Marvel G.I. Joe comics 108 through 115 came out in 91. So can you guess what political things were happening at that point that G.I. Joe would have a commentary about?
Oh, that was the Gulf War.
Correct. Interesting.
I know
story.
my wars, Jesse. I know my wars.
Cobra Commander goes and takes over a country and their oil reserves.
Of course they are. Yes, very good. Did he
Larry,
have WMDs? Did Cobra have WMDs?
This is an interesting tale because this is a point where Larry Hama's decided, okay, I'm going to kill off some Joes. And he's never done that. And as far as I know, he might have done something like that. But this is where it's like, 6 or 7 Joes, including one of the original Joes, gets killed.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's
like an oil tanker and had a fucking
dude
rowboat full of terrorists blow it up.
At one point, they had the terrorists, which were not Cobras. These were, I think, part of some other uprising. Anyway, they had hostages strapped to vehicles. If the Joes, so anyway, that'll be an interesting discussion. And then I think. It's airing tomorrow is going to be Unspoken Issues, Darkness Batman. So if you ever watched, if you've read The Darkness, or played the video game, he crossed over with Batman, I think in '99. So you can hear me and Chris Armstrong get together and talk about that. That on Snap Material is going to happen. I think I'm going to record with Evan, I think tomorrow. So if you like Marvel Snap and play the game, me and Evan Bevins always deliver something about once a month. Check that out. That's it.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us here on TV Party tonight. He's Jesse. I'm Snotty. Be well, be safe, and behave.